And you must be the Monopoly guy. Duh.
Hey guys, James here again with another Civ 6 video, and today I want to talk about the Monopolies and Corporations mode, which was introduced as part of the Vietnam and Kublai Khan pack. Monopolies and Corporations is a mode that's entirely focused on adding more depth to the luxury resource game, and encourages players to try and obtain multiple copies of resources so that they can corner the market and reap massive bonuses. The goal of this video is to help you understand the mechanics of this mode so that you can dominate your enemies. So, right off the bat, once your game starts, you're going to want to take a look at the types of luxury resources around you. Scouting in this mode is particularly important because it'll give you an idea of the types of bonuses you'll be able to obtain, and therefore allow you to better plan out your cities and what you might want each one to specialize in. This in turn will help you figure out which victory type you can go for. There are two key improvements that are introduced in this mode. The first are industries. Industries are unlocked at currency and can be built if you control at least 2 improved copies of a luxury. If you're the suzerain of a city-state that has an improved copy of the luxury, that counts as well. Settling on a resource will also count towards improving and owning a luxury. Just keep in mind, if an improvement is pillaged, it'll no longer count towards you controlling it, even though you technically do have it improved. Once you have 2 improved copies of a luxury, you can then build an industry on the resource using a builder. The industry grants +2 food, +2 production, +1 gold, and +1 great merchant point per turn. That great merchant point will become a lot more useful as you progress through the mode. Keep in mind though, in many cases you'll be replacing the original tile improvement on the resource with this new industry, and this can cause you to lose some of the bonuses from that improvement. So, for example, plantations grant +2 gold when built, but since industries only provide +1 gold, you'll have a net loss of 1 gold per turn. This can also cause you to lose other bonuses you might get on specific improvements, such as say Pantheon bonuses. You can potentially avoid this though if you already have 2 improved copies of a luxury, which allows you to directly build an industry on a 3rd copy, even if that copy hadn't been improved yet. Regardless, building an industry is very much worth it, as creating an industry will provide that host city with a pretty massive bonus to a specific yield. The yield which is affected by the industry depends on the type of luxury that it is. So, for example, wine gives you an additional 20% culture to the host city, and diamonds provide an additional 25% gold. I really tried to rack my brain to figure out an easy way to remember which resources boost which yields, but spoiler alert, I didn't get there. However, if you do take a look at the Civ 6 wiki, you can kinda see what they're going for with the different groupings. However, I'd probably just recommend having the page on the side ready to go if needed. There are some other limitations though. You can only have 1 industry per luxury resource, and you can only have 1 industry per city. That makes it very important for you to think about and plan which city you want to host which industry. This can also make specializing your cities very important in this mode, especially if you want to maximize your outputs. But obviously, since it's kinda dependent on the map, a lot of it may come down to how you settle your cities. Some industries and bonuses might be useful to move around though. For example, sugar will improve population growth, so if you have it, you might want to consider changing the city which owns the industry so that you can promote growth all around your empire. After progressing through the ages and researching economics, you then unlock corporations. Corporations are pretty similar to industries, except you'll need to have at least 3 improved copies of a resource to make one. Corporations will need to be established on an already existing industry, and you actually can't build them using builders. Instead, you have to use a great merchant who hasn't spent any of their charges yet. This is why that +1 great merchant point from before is pretty key here, and it also means you'll want to get commercial hubs up early so you can start grabbing some of those merchants. The corporation grants +4 food, +10 production, and +3 gold. However, since it replaces the previous industry, this actually nets out to +2 food, +8 production, and +2 gold. In my testing, I also found you'll lose the +1 great merchant point per turn from the industry. Again though, it's really okay because the corporation is pretty nuts, as it doubles the yield bonus that the original industry provided. So, using the same examples from before, a wine corporation will grant the host city an additional 40% culture, and diamonds will provide an additional 50% gold to the city. This is absolutely insane. The only thing is, only 1 civ can create a corporation for a specific luxury at a time, so if you want to reap those benefits, you're going to have to make sure you control more copies of that luxury than other players competing for the corporation. This also makes it so that whoever manages to build that corporation first is at a bit of an advantage. Once you do manage to get more copies though, you'll be able to build the corporation, and this will destroy the corporation that was owned by the other civ. In addition to those bonuses, corporations also allow the host city to create products of that luxury, which are extremely powerful. products can be created by running the appropriate city project. They will take quite a bit of production to complete though. After completion, it creates a product which is a special type of great work that is stored in stock exchanges and seaports, with each of these buildings having 3 slots for products. Like other great works, products can also be traded between civs. Products will grant some base yields, which is usually the same yield as the resource tile bonus. So again, going with the previous examples, wine products grant +3 food because wine tiles naturally provide +1 food and +1 gold. Diamond products on the other hand grant +6 gold because diamond tiles naturally provide +3 gold. All products will also grant an additional +1 tourism per turn. More importantly though, products provide their host city with yield bonuses equal to the bonuses from the corresponding industry. So again, that means a wine product will grant the city with +20% culture, and a diamond product will grant the city with +25% gold. This makes products a great way for you to either spread your bonuses to other cities across your empire, or you can stack products on top of each other as well as on top of corporation bonuses, thereby providing you a massive multiplier that can provide double or more of the amount of yield that you're getting, especially if you add on other bonuses from say, governors or wonders. There is one limitation though, outside of just requiring a stock exchange or seaport. You can only create 5 products per corporation, so again, think about which cities you want to boost. The 5 products also seems to be a global maximum, so even if you gain control of the corporation, you may be limited in the number of products you can create if the old owner had already made a couple. What's nice is that since they are great works, you can very easily move the products around between your cities, again, assuming that they have a stock exchange or seaport. Because of this, you can in some ways almost think of products as mini policy cards and change them around as needed to fit your goals and needs. The final mechanic that this mode adds is the Monopoly mechanic. You gain a monopoly over a luxury if you control at least 60% of that luxury on the map, and these luxuries need to be improved to count as being controlled by you. Again, being the suzerain of a city-state will add their copies to your count, but just be wary that you may lose control of them at some point. Once you have a monopoly over a resource, you'll get a notification letting you know, and potentially some era score if you're the first to have a monopoly over that resource. If you want to know how much of a resource you control or need to control, you'll either need to manually search with the map search function, or once you unlock mercantilism, you'll gain access to the improved global resource report here in the top right corner, which will tell you what percentage of control you have and who else has those resources. Then, you gotta do what you gotta do. The first benefit of having a monopoly is monetary.
We have gold, lots of gold. I'm prepared to give you lots of gold.
For monopolies where you have at least 60% of a resource, you'll get +5 gold per turn. If you own 75% of a resource, you'll get +10 gold per turn. Finally, if you own all copies of a resource, you'll gain +25 gold per turn. If you have multiple monopolies, these amounts will also stack up. If you have at least one monopoly, you'll also get an additional +5 gold per turn bonus for each civ you have a trade route with. So to really maximize this, once you have a monopoly, you should try and establish trade routes with as many civs as you can. Monopolies also grant you a multiplier that increases tourism. If you don't have an industry or corporation on the resource, this bonus is equal to +1% tourism for each improvement of the resource, multiplied by the number of civs who don't control a copy of that resource. If you do build an industry or corporation on that resource, the tourism multiplier will be increased to +3%. I really wouldn't worry about the math too much, just remember that monopolies increase your tourism. Important to note is that you can still trade away resources in deals, and that will not affect your industries, corporations, or monopolies. This is because copies of the traded resources don't count as being controlled by those civs, so you can still make deals without worrying. And finally, I just want to give some of my general thoughts and strategy. If you have monopolies and corporations active, I think early scouting and city planning become key if you want to maximize your bonuses. Since the multipliers for industries, corporations, and products are percentage based, this means if you want to get the most out of them, you're going to want to figure out which cities will be the best hosts. Think about the yields you get from tiles worked by the city, as well as potential bonuses from districts and adjacencies. Thankfully, you can also remove existing industries and corporations and build them in other places if you decide to change your strategy, or you happen to settle or capture a city that would make for a better host. This can become a little expensive though, as you need to constantly make builders and get those great merchants. One thing that I really like about this mode is how it can push you towards war if you want to obtain more copies of a resource. I don't know if the AI necessarily thinks about that, but it definitely encourages you to be a bit of a warmonger. Taking city-states can be a lot more useful now too, as it can allow you to retain control of resources. The only thing I wish is that they maybe could have added more mechanics with regards to monopolies on, say, strategic or bonus resources, but at the same time I also understand why they chose not to do so. But hey, that's everything I had this time. If I missed anything or you know any interesting interactions, definitely let me know down below in a comment. Otherwise, if you made it this far, I just want to say that I appreciate you, and I hope you're having a great day. Peace.